Man, I sure do love being inside my house with no one else around to bother me. Oh, seems like someone's at the door after saying I was alone. Let's see who it is. Lalo and Gobify?
Sup?
What are you guys doing here?
Dude, you invited us to record a video with you.
I did?
Marijuana affects the memory.
Well, we might as well get this over with. We're already wasting the audience time by doing this intro.
Wait, we're already doing the video?
Grunge was probably the biggest cultural shift to ever happen in music. Not just rock music, but music in general. It seemed like everything that came before it instantly became old news. It was also seemingly a terrible time to be a frontman during this period, considering how many of them either got addicted to drugs and or died. For exploding into the mainstream like it did, it amazes me how short of an era this actually was. Starting in the very late 80s and pretty much fading out by the mid-90s. Many great bands came out of this genre, some of which include Mudhoney, Mother Love Bone, and Soundgarden. But the biggest band to ever come out of this genre would definitely have to be Nirvana.
Oh! Can I talk about Nirvana, please, please, please?
Alright, fine, you talk about Nirvana. I gotta write my part of the script anyway.
So here I am, I guess. Well, today... Wait a minute. Why am I the only one with subtitles?
Do you have any idea what he's saying?
Not a clue.
Fucking turn this shit up! Today we'll talk about this very underground band. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I think it's called Nirvana or something? Jokes aside, you probably already heard about Nirvana. If not, that's weird since they are one of the most influential and successful bands of all time. Their biggest hit being Smells Like Teen Spirit, that even my grandma knows about. Nirvana started as this very heavy and rock and roll band that honestly didn't seem to have a lot of thought put into it. Not that this is a bad thing, not everything has to be clever and poetic. And you can see that very well on their debut album, Bleach. Songs like School lyrically seem like they do have some kind of meaning, but that just wasn't expanded on, so it remains really simple and almost nonsensical. But musically they just go really hard, and as I said before, are heavy as shit, having even some metal influences and screaming on them, like for example Paper Cuts. Not the Linkin Park one. There is a Nirvana song that almost sounds like early Korn, having downtuned, aggressive and dissonant riffs, a haunting and very performative vocal delivery, and Kurt Cobain screaming his ass off. As they said, they made that album more rock on purpose to please the Sub Pop, the label they were making the album under, audience. But that's not the record we're talking about today, since despite being a really good record in my opinion, it is only the beginning of Nirvana's story. Obviously it's their first record after all. We're talking about the one everyone knows them for, the legendary Nevermind. There isn't a consensus on why Nevermind was so popular and fucking exploded, since it seems like there were multiple aspects that led to that. But it's kinda because the album was so different and interesting. Well, I think there isn't a better song to start with other than the iconic, praised, and by some hated, Smells Like Teen Spirit, the opener and main single of this album. This song, despite being overplayed, is honestly very good. Its verses are slow and seem like they are constantly building up to something, with a haunting guitar work, and the build-up definitively pays off, since the chorus is extremely intense, featuring Kurt Cobain screams full of anger and some great drum work by the GOAT Dave Grohl, and of course some groovy bass from Chris to hold it all together. Now combine that with a music video full of rage, anger, and that during the production of it, the teenagers invited to participate rebelled against the fucking director. And well, you got the recipe for a hit. In Bloom is a song that at first seems pretty normal, but as soon as you get to the chorus, you get hit by Kurt's right on your face lyrics, where he basically criticizes people who listen to music with very clear messages on them, but don't even know what they mean, where they sometimes even listen to songs that directly talk about things they do, or at least that's my interpretation of him. Holly talks about a very grotesque case of a real-life case of kidnapping of a 14-year-old girl. What the? Some people misinterpreted the lyrics, since they are written in the perspective of the author of the crime, but this was all very obviously a critique of this horrible act.
Let me clip dirty wings, let me take a ride, cut.
But let's move on from this topic, since it's not very pleasing to talk about. And let's talk about my personal favorite part of this album, the emotional and sad songs. Maybe not a lot of people will agree with me on this, but Lithium is an extremely melancholic song. Despite having its almost upbeat rhythm and melodies, What really builds the tone and atmosphere of this song are the lyrics for me.
I'm so happy, cause today found my friends.
It sounds almost ironic, which just builds a weird, tired and melancholic tone for me. At least that's my interpretation. Feel free to share yours on the comments of this video, and help my guy One Cent Wonder. Another really emotional and sad song, this time way more obviously, is Something in the Way, the Batman song. That is a magnific way of ending such an album. It's a song told by the perspective of a person that lost everything, that can be interpreted both literally and as a metaphor.
Something in the way.
I mean, for you to get the whole experience, you obviously need to listen to it. So even if you already did, consider listening to it again, because that album is honestly timeless and always brings to me a new experience every time I listen to it again.
Yeah, the kids tend to idolize Nirvana, but growing up is realizing Alice in Chains is a far better band.
No, I wanted to talk about Alice in Chains.
It's my video, I'm talking about Alice in Chains.
Well, who the fuck am I supposed to talk about? Stone Temple Pilots? God damn it.
Alice in Chains would form in 1988 in Seattle, Washington. They're also the best band to come out of grunge, and if you disagree, you're wrong and I'm gonna get the belt. The band would form after lead singer Lane Staley met guitarist Jerry Cantrell while he was working at the Music Bank rehearsal studio. During this time, they would become close friends and would want to start a band together. They'd take the name from Lane's previous band, Alice N Chains, but they later changed it to Alice in Chains because it's sexier. The band would make 3 albums and a couple EPs during this period. Dirt is generally considered their best album, but my personal favorite has to be their debut, Facelift. Facelift was released on August 28th, 1990, and the first time listening to it, my face blew off with how amazing the album is. During the time the album was made, Lane wasn't on drugs yet, which I feel contributes to his vocals being as strong as they are here. This album has more of a hard rock sound compared to the more sludgy sound they'd go for on Dirt and the self-titled. It definitely has a lighter tone when compared to those albums. Hell, the album ends with the words "sexual chocolate, baby!" Though it still has those moments like on Love Hate Love. This song hits really hard when you've been cheated on or have had relationship issues in the past. Something I know all too well about. Songs like Put You Down and I Know Something About You highlight the band's ability to write really catchy, more upbeat tracks. Man in the Box is probably the band's biggest song, for a good reason of course. It perfectly showcased Lane's ability as a singer as well as the chemistry he has with Jerry on their songs. It sounds amazing on the album, but hearing live versions pushes it over the edge for me. Lane would belt out the lyrics like his life depended on it. Overall, this album is so unbelievably good. It's actually the first grunge album to be certified platinum, and it really proves which grunge band out of the big 4 was really the best. After the release of Facelift, the band would continue to release music, and over the years, Lane would seep deeper and deeper into his drug addiction. It would all come to an end when Lane would pass away in his condo in Seattle from a drug overdose on April 5th, 2002, the exact day Kurt Cobain died 8 years prior. The rest of the band would reunite in 2005 with their new lead singer, William Duvall, and they've been going strong ever since.
Hey, now that you're done stealing what I was gonna talk about, is it my turn?
Yeah, hurry up and take your turn, you Stone Temple shithead.
Stone Temple Pilots came into existence at the exact same time as the big boom of grunge in the early 90s, with their debut album Core earning them the title of Grunge Imitators. Yeah, they weren't initially well liked in the grunge scene, but gatekeepers gonna gatekeep. Core came out a little over a year after Nirvana's Nevermind had catapulted Spencer Eldon into a life of clout chasing, so it's completely possible that they were inspired by Nirvana, but let's be completely honest, they sound nothing alike. Don't look at that, don't. Okay, so maybe they occasionally are indistinguishable from Nirvana, but look, it was 1992, everybody wanted to be Nirvana. Except Kurt, apparently. And Stone Temple Pilots did in time lean away from it and come into their own sound as time went on. But I really like Core for the simple fact that it's much more unrefined and chaotic. Supposedly the album was even gonna have yodeling that got cut. There certainly was a hint of folk twang that made it into the album though, and generally their sound wasn't as abrasive as their contemporaries. The whole album has a really toned down melodic vibe to it that really reminds me of being at a concert and going to use the bathroom but still being able to faintly hear the band playing through the walls. That sort of aura Stone Temple Pilots had really shines through on the tracks like Creep and Plush, which I played endlessly on Rock Band 3. Shouts out to the Xbox 360 drum kit controller that had the pads that were barely glued on and fell off constantly.
Hey, now that both of you are done talking, I'm gonna need you to get the fuck out of my house.
Wait, aren't you going to like pay us or something?
Sure, here's a 10-piece McNuggets. I already ate 5, but you could share the rest, I guess.
I don't even know why we bother coming over.
Yeah, you're kind of a dick.
Because you love me. With the amount of amazing bands that came from this era, it's no surprise that it would be one of the most fondly looked back on genres in rock music. It introduced me to a lot of my favorite bands, and I probably wouldn't have gotten into the heavier stuff without it. And for that, grunge will always hold a special place in my heart, even if it did inspire a lot of the crap that came out afterwards. What are some of your favorite grunge bands? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to give a shout out to Plalo and Gobify for helping me with this video. You can find their channels in the description. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 3,000 subs by the end of the year, so it'd be very much appreciated. Hey, future me here. So, we already hit that. So instead, if you'd like, you can become a member of the channel. You got some cool emojis, and I'll say your name at the end of the videos now. So thank you. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.
Yeah.